On today's episode, we have Bruno De Figueredo. Bruno, thanks a lot for being here. Really appreciate it. So, Bruno is a marketing automation specialist and also now the co founder and head of technology at a company called Level Up Creators. And Bruno has extensive experience in marketing and marketing operations, whereas he started off as a freelancer and now he's also working with clients from all around the world. So, Bruno, once again, thanks for being here. And I was very interested in your story where you had moved from Brazil to Italy and then you had eventually figured out a way to work with freelance clients and then, moving on to building and co-founding a company. So Bruno, shall we talk a little bit about that? What was the journey there? How was your experience? Would love to hear a little bit about it.
Sure, sure. Yeah, thank you. I'm super happy to be here. And yeah, I mean, as you said, I was born in Brazil actually, and I live in Italy. So I moved here when I was 15. Now I'm 38, so I'm kind of more Italian than Brazilian right now. Even though I still feel more Brazilian than Italian, but that's another story. And the first thing about this topic, so about like learning a new language, actually, that happened to me when I moved from Brazil to Italy, because moving here, I was like in high school, so Italian for me was a completely new language. So basically, I started like from zero. I mean, just like from pasta and pizza. And
Right.
so that was probably my first step before the English, and both, as you said, both Brazil and Italy, they are not English speakers. I mean, of course, we study English like in school, like
Right.
like the same all over the world, but it's not the same. Like really feeling confident and being prepared, to use English as your language for like work and all that stuff. So I started, complete the university here, started a few jobs here in Italy, and I started actually as a graphic designer, and then I eventually moved to more like, let's say, website building, social media stuff, like 10, 15 years ago. And
Okay.
I worked for different companies, always in Italy. So, like big companies, startups, and agencies. And then 4 years ago, I decided, the freelancing was probably my goal basically. So work like, for clients I decide to work with, type of work I decided to work on. So basically, I started working as a freelancer, and in marketing, but not only in the marketing field, but in general. When you search for the information online, like new platforms you want to learn how to use, or new, everything you search online, like if you know how to understand those things in English, it's just easier. You have, a lot of more content, you have a lot of more like videos and workshops and all that stuff in English. So my English journey, let's say, started because I was kind of forced to,
Okay.
understand, like in this case, we are doing this podcast in English. I'm not an English speaker. I mean, I'm like an Italian and Portuguese mother tongue, and you are not from the US or UK. So,
Yes.
and we are doing this in English. So you understand that you need to understand English, even only just to understand this type of content. And then I kind of realized that I could use also that, this English skill, maybe to find another job and to find maybe like new clients from not only in Italy, but from maybe the
Okay.
Europe, like the whole Europe, but also from the United States. So I started, studying English with Preply and other like Duolingo. I've tested all of them, and
Oh,
just trying to improve my English. But you know that if you don't have like consistency and you are not really studying and practicing every week, it's not the same thing. So it's not, I mean, because I have friends, for example, they say, oh yeah, I'm trying to watch movies in English so I can improve my English. I mean, yeah, that can help. I mean, it's not like nothing, but it's not really enough. So you need really to practice, to speak in English, to speak with people that speak in English. And so I try to use these different things. I started to go to events here for like English speakers and like to improve English and things like that. So then I was, and for the same reason, I was on a community on Slack for email developers. I'm not a developer, but I worked with marketing automation, so really related to the email field, let's say. But it was only like a community more for developers. But I was interested in, kind of coding with emails and that kind of stuff. And on that community in English, of course, they have a couple of channels like for freelancers and in that case active campaign experts. So I remember these like this message from a guy inside the community. He was searching for an active campaign specialist for a company, for a client in the US. And I read the message and I was like, that could be, an opportunity. But I was not really feeling I was ready for that step, like working with an English speaking company. And so I was like, should I try, So I just decided, okay, let's try, let's see what happened. And actually they decided to start working with me. And then I started working with Amanda, so the founder and CEO of Level Up Creators. And we worked together for a few months. And then with other colleagues, we decided to actually launch the Level Up Creators, to co-found together Level Up Creators. And so basically, this is what happened. And I forgot to mention another thing. When I was here in Italy, I actually decided for 3 months to go to Portugal because, as a Brazilian, I'm a Portuguese mother tongue. And I was like, oh, if I go to Portugal, they speak Portuguese. It will be easy. That was not really easy. So I tried for a few months there. I tried to live there. And then I decided to come back here to Italy and to actually improve my English and try maybe to, understand more outside Italy, different job opportunities and things like that. So basically, this is what happened. And so yeah, now it has been 2 years and a half, 3 years. We co-founded Level Up Creators, so I'm still working with them, of course. And yeah, it's amazing. And I basically now I work like the whole day in English, basically with them,
Wow.
and messaging or using like Zoom calls or Loom videos or whatever. So basically, right now I'm just only working in English, actually.
I see. So, when you firstly got into maybe freelance opportunities, what did these clients really look at? Was it just the technical skills that helped you land these maybe deals in terms of freelance contracts, or did they look at your English speaking skills as well? Like, did that really matter when they tried hiring you, or like was
That's
there any element of it?
Yeah, that's a great question because they actually never asked for my. Of course, they expect to at least have someone that can at least understand or manage a conversation, let's say in English. But it was important to be like prepared and to. Still now, so it passed like 3 years. I'm working only in English, but I know I don't have like a correct pronunciation. I know there's a lot of words I have no idea, and so I still feel I'm not like a really a great English speaker. I know but that's fine. They just need, of course, they need your skills about your job, your position, your role, but they need that you can be at least confident to work with English, and you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have like the best pronunciation or to know everything. I'm not a writer. I'm not writing a book. That would be
Yeah.
probably harder. But for my job, if I know all the words I need for my specific role, and I know how to communicate with my colleagues and with the clients, I know how to if something can be more like polite or maybe rude, so I can understand that kind of stuff. That's pretty much enough to work with them. So I don't think important to be like perfect, but of course you need to have like a base level. At least you can work the same way you would work with non-English speakers. So basically the main thing is that I need to know how to do my job the same way I was doing my job in Italian, let's say. So that's pretty much what you need to know for like how good your English should be, basically.
100%. And also, you mentioned for you to figure out your English speaking skills, you ended up using platforms like Preply, Duolingo, and so on, right? Uh, in your journey, were there any other resources that you went on to maybe study or like use to improve your English speaking skills apart from those tools? I think a lot of people know Duolingo, but Preply, I think it's a bit lesser known. But were there any other platforms or tools that you used to improve? And how long did this transition take, or this practice? Were you practicing your English speaking skills consistently, or were you just working with people and you automatically improved, or how did that work out, Bruno?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it depends. In the sense, I mean, for example, when I moved from Brazil to Italy and I learned Italian here, was quite different because I was forced to, speak in Italian, read in Italian. So, like from the TV with my, people from the school with, if you need to go to the supermarket, everything is in Italian. So you need to understand, that language. So it's very different if you are not living in like in an English speaking environment, let's say. So it's really different. So for me, English in that case was harder because you need to commit yourself like to every week, every 2 days, or every day, whatever. It depends on your goals and the time you have to do this, basically. um, you just need to maintain consistent your effort. So if you decide, okay, you have like 2 days every week, you have maybe a lesson with someone, or if you are using Duolingo, you need to use it like every single day. You cannot miss
True.
one single day. If you're using Preply, for example, so Preply, I was taking classes from English speakers, so I had a
Okay.
call every week, and from one call to the other, I have maybe some like homeworks and things to practice. So that's another thing. But so I think the most important thing is, okay, you need to set up a goal. Let's say, okay, so my goal is to improve my English in 6 months, 3 months, 1 year. And then you need to understand how fast you can learn. So maybe you need some testing, like 1 month, so you can understand how much you can improve in a month. And then how many lessons, how many activities. So do I need to go to English speakers events, for example? Or do I need to, I don't know, like, of course, if you are already working and you have the possibility to like read articles online, to use even using like your phone. So I have my phone, for example, here is in English.
Okay.
It's not in
Oh,
Italian,
right.
and my computer is in English, and it's not easy because sometimes I need to set up an alarm or something like that, and I have no idea about how to say it to Siri or Alexa, or so it's funny sometimes, but it forces you to practice your English. So because you just need to use English in that case. So the same thing for like articles and for like softwares you are using. Instead of using your like Italian or your language, just try to use English because it's easier to find documentation online and articles and all the stuff, workshops and webinars, but also it forces you to learn new verbs, new words, and to learn how they describe things. And so yeah, I think it's just like you need to set up a goal, understand how fast you can learn, and with all the possibilities you have, just try to use them all together. So I don't know about other platforms, of course. just English. And oh yeah, no, I use the Grammarly also,
Okay.
because another
G-
thing. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah,
I was gonna mention that grammar is like a like grammatical mistake sort of a tool.
yeah. So I use the Grammarly, and I mean, and you have also the free version. And the
Yes.
nice thing about Grammarly is that um, now we have ChatGPT, Claude, so we can just type in our language, and we can have the translation. It's quite
Yeah.
easy, but that's not helpful, trust me,
Mm,
because I use that a lot, and it's
yeah.
not really helpful. And for this, or for learning English. But if you're using Grammarly, for example, you can try to type and use English for your messages and all that stuff, and you can have Grammarly correcting your words, so you can understand more from your mistakes, instead of just translate this and then you just have like the message ready. So that's another good
Mm.
yeah app. I would suggest Grammarly, probably. And
I think this is pretty interesting because for people who want to actually spend and figure out ways of learning, there's always opportunity like platforms like Grammarly, uh, Duolingo, and Preply, and so on, right? But if you're somebody that maybe doesn't want to spend on external software tools, you can always use what you already have. For example, one great thing that you mentioned was not changing your language, maybe on your mobile phone or your desktop, would like be pretty helpful because it makes you think in
yeah,
English and also
yeah,
figure out what this means.
the whole
So I think
day,
that
yeah.
yes, and I think that'll really help you move faster in terms of progress as well.
Yeah, and also a last thing, and because I believe more in like new habits, and than actually using like Duolingo and Preply. I mean, they can help you to create some habits, but I actually believe that if you live with someone that is also maybe trying to speak, to learn English, I mean, try to just speak in English with them. I mean, I know it's weird sometimes. So,
Yeah.
for example, me and my partner, so she's also trying to improve, her English. So sometimes we just try to speak in English, together. It's really weird sometimes, because you sound like a different person. It's not easy, I understand,
Mm.
but that can help a lot, because you can just practice your English, and they can tell you if you are maybe making some very big mistake, or and you can improve from hearing from them. So I think more than using apps, etc., that's important, but it's also trying to make, in this case, English, or the new language you are learning, part of your life, like day by day. That's very important. I mean, that can really change something. Not really like, okay, now I can understand better, maybe some movies or things like that. I can understand what my favorite band is, singing. And but instead of that, really try to speak, and okay, now I can speak better. I feel more confident when I'm speaking in English. So that makes really the difference, I think.
Sure. And I think when you're starting off to maybe practice with your friends or your parents or your partner, just to get some basics sorted out while you're at home, you might have to go through this phase of awkwardness where it might sound a little bit strange,
Yeah,
but once you get over it, I think it would immensely start helping you out because it's your home environment, right? You get to practice, you get to speak as much as possible. So I think that's like a huge factor of improvement once you start implementing it your personal life as well.
yeah. And another thing about this, and this is really interesting, because my girlfriend, actually, she was very interested in learning Brazilian, so Portuguese. I mean, Portuguese in Brazil is a little bit different from Portugal.
Mhm.
Anyway, so she started like in a school here, some classes for 1 year, but then she asked me like a lot of times, and I mean like a lot, for different, many
Okay.
years, to speak in Portuguese with her. Like this
Right.
was like in the past, let's say, 7 years. Okay, so and now she can speak in Portuguese. So we've been in Brazil, and I mean, she spoke in Portuguese with all my cousins and my uncles. So she was actually able to speak in Portuguese, and that's not easy because English, you have like a lot of stuff. You have
Yeah.
movies, and it's I mean, it's easier to learn because you studied at school. So in this case, only just like speaking with me and asking me to speak in Portuguese and all that stuff. So I mean, she can speak in Portuguese right now, and she actually remember a lot of Portuguese words that I don't remember anymore, and that's quite funny. And so yeah, I mean, you can just improve your English just trying to speak in English, basically, with your family or your friends, or yeah.
Yep, for sure, 100%. And an interesting part about your journey was the fact that, starting as a freelancer, you eventually transitioned onto co-founding a company, right? How did that work out, Bruno? Very, very interested in hearing that part of the story.
Yeah, I mean, we because we started working together with Amanda Northcutt before Level Up Creators. So we started for working for a client. He was a creator, and we worked with two more people at that time. And then basically we understood that what we are doing for this client, we could actually do for more clients, more people. So we decided to co-found Level Up Creators. So basically to help creators, thought leaders, authors, speakers to create an monthly recurring revenue based on their knowledge. And so basically we help them, with their strategy, with their tech, in my case, or design. So create a new brand style guide, their like a new website, and all that stuff they need to build for to create them as as a professional, let's say. And so yeah, basically it happened actually pretty much normally, let's say.
Hmm.
It was just like let's say the normal flow of what happened from the beginning. So and it was 2 years ago right now.
Right.
So yeah, it's amazing.
Nice. So, if we were to take two versions of who you are as a freelancer and co-founder, and if you were to remove this element of English from one version, and the other version had, the same amount of experience that you have right now, but maybe not so fluent, but the other version experienced and fluent. So, if you were to compare it, how much of a difference would you say it has? Maybe in your life personally, how much of a difference has it made being fluent in English and being able to communicate confidently versus, just being skilled and experienced versus not being able to speak and converse confidently in English?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, almost everything probably. Because right now I work for a company I really like. I really believe in what we're doing, and I have a great relationship with all the colleagues and all our clients also. And the main difference is that because of my, in this case, this opportunity of working in English with a company from the US, is that I can really I just have more choices. So I probably just I found something I was searching for. So I, instead of being limited by what I can uh, do with like just the Italian market, let's say. It's just I have more possibilities, so I can really work with people that I really like, and for like and then also another important thing is that if you and this um, if you work with people from like the United States, from Germany, from UK, from Japan, whatever, so or from Sri Lanka. So I mean, you can learn a lot of different things from all of them that you cannot learn if you are only working with one single culture. And I really believe that because when I moved from Brazil to Italy, I think, I mean, one, like, let's say it was not easy because I was 15, so I, left my friends in Brazil and, all the family. I was here with my parents and my sister. So like a completely new life without, knowing a new language, knowing nobody. So was not really easy. But at the same time, I feel that because of this change, so I, met a lot of new people here, like from a different culture, and I learned a lot of things I would never learn in Brazil. And this is the same that is happening for me with my job right now, because I can learn different things from my colleagues and people I'm working with that are not Italian. And not because I cannot learn from people from Italy. You can just learn
Mm.
different things. So I work with people from Spain, from India also, and from Europe in general and United States. And so it's just like you can learn more things. You have more possibilities. So I mean, it's completely different. So yeah, I would say like almost everything. So yeah.
Oh, that's really insane. So, Bruno, first to wrap this conversation up, if I were to ask you, what would be one piece of advice that you would share towards a younger freelancer who's starting out, maybe born in a non-native English-speaking country? What would it be? Maybe as advice to your younger self.
Yeah. Probably the most important thing I would say, I mean, not most important, but not so maybe discussed, is the the fear of not being so great in English. So I don't know if I'm prepared to this application, this new client from outside. So because I mean, of course, you can suggest, okay, if you I mean you're asking for some advice, so I would say, okay, start English. So try to use different apps and try to use different ways you can improve your English skills, and that's of course important. But I think the most important thing is that you don't need to wait to be like 100% perfect in English. I mean, just try to start somewhere. So if you feel something, you are improving, try to maybe work with someone. So don't wait too much. So I would say, for me, I would say that. And fortunately, when I saw this opportunity with Amanda for this active campaign expert they were searching for, it's funny because going back, I was actually not sure if I was prepared to apply or not. So I was like, I don't know, because my English is not so great. And so maybe, what if I cannot, explain anything? Or what if I need to make a call with them and I cannot explain and I'm like nervous and, but fortunately, I just decided, oh, let's do it. I mean, let's try. I mean, what can happen really bad, at this point? So I think my best advice would be just like try, give it a try and try to improve your English then more and more and more always. I mean, I'm still taking lessons right now. And so yeah, I mean, you just need to keep going and improving and learning. So, but just try. You cannot wait like forever. You just need to try.
Yep, for sure. And thanks so much for being on the podcast, Bruno. It was such a pleasure having this conversation. And hopefully, we can meet in Sri Lanka sometime soon when you're here.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I'll be there probably in a couple of months. So
Awesome.
that's for sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
yeah.
meet up.
Yeah. Thank
Sounds
you.
good. Thanks, Bruno. Appreciate it. Have a good
Thank
one.
you very much. Thank you.